Alright guys, Mike with iheartknives here, and today we're going to talk about the Tangram vector, and we are going to disassemble it, do some cleanup too. I did just check to see what Torx it is. The pivot is T8. And the body screws are T9, I believe. And I personally use WEHA bits and drive the little driver, the stubby I think it's called. It's not a plug for them. That's personally what I like. I've found that their bits are good quality. Shit, sorry, I didn't realize that was off camera. Just check something quick. There we go. Wow, that's different. The pivot they use white thread locker, but the body screws they used blue thread locker, which is nice to see. They use so much on the pivot. It's the only complaint I have with the Chinese made stuff is they use so much thread locker. It's funny, these screws, they're T9, but it's almost like the T9 bit is too big, but then the T8 is too small. It almost feels like it's in between, but obviously it's not. Yeah, they're kind of tough to get out. Okay, so that's good. The spring stayed in place fairly well. Stop pin. And, okay, so we have, it looks like, I think this is phosphor bronze. And these look like they're 5,000ths. Then we have nylon. And they actually did a good job polishing the liner side. Maybe that's what was wrong with the action. So these are polished on both sides, like both washers rather. Both the scale side and the knife side were polished on one side of the blade. and then the others, the back side of the blade, they weren't. So not really sure what that's about. So you can see the knife is polished pretty well where the pivot and the washers are. You know, the steel itself. And then you can see where the button lock opening is, where it locks up. There was a little bit of lock stick, so there is a little bit of a burr. Maybe that's what it was getting caught on. So I'll see if maybe I'll have to do something with it. Alright guys, I got some just some isopropyl alcohol and paper towels. And we're just gonna start cleaning the knife. First start with the blade. Get where the pivot is, or where the pivot goes in. And we'll just set that aside for now. Clean the scale. And set that aside. Clean the liner, one side of the liners. So they did drill these out to lighten them, which is really nice. Don't want to lose that spring. And instead of taking this all apart, I think I'm just going to clean it the way it is. This is really not dirty. It's actually one of the cleanest knives I've ever gotten from China. Probably the cleanest knife I've ever gotten from China. And Tangram is the budget line of Kaiser. And they're doing a really nice job with their knives so far, it seems. Okay, now we're just gonna clean the pivot, and it's a D-shaped pivot, and as you can see it's actually really clean, which again I'm surprised. They're clearly stepping up their game. Clean off that spring, not that it really needs it. Clean off the button lock. That's all set. And I am going to clean the screws off just to get the Loctite off of them. And then what I do is just take the screw, put it in the paper towel, put the screwdriver in, and then just turn it. And that just cleans the threads. I'll do that one more time. Okay, and as you can see, threads are really clean. I am going to throw blue Loctite on them before I put it back together. So see how the T8 fits in these body screws, or the scale screws? It's bizarre. It'll fit a T9, but T8 also works. These don't even really need to be cleaned off, but alright. Let's take these washers and just clean the oil off of them. And I am going to throw them on a strop just to polish them a little bit. They did come pretty well polished, but I think we could get it a little better. Alright guys, I just had to level one of the washers out because it was pretty bad. So I just took my Shapton 1000 and, you know, ran it back and forth just like I would strop it. It was cupped. So these washers, actually all of them were a little cupped. You could tell by the scratch pattern, but it's not that serious. So now let's go ahead and finish polishing on the 1/2 micron DMT. So earlier I noticed that the diamond plate still wasn't getting to it. So, you know, it's not going to be perfect, but it'll be a lot better than it was. You can see how shiny it is. You know, there's still like minor scratches in it, but it's not a big deal. Okay. So at this point, I think we'll start putting this back together. We'll go ahead and grab the pivot. And this is 85 weight nano oil. I also use Daiwa Daiwa reel oil. It's made for like fishing reels. Just put a drop on the pivot and just kind of work that around. Go ahead and drop a washer. Just a light touch of oil on the washer. Put our nylon washer down. Put just another really light drop. Just kind of move it around. Another bronze washer down. And I am gonna just put a drop on the blade itself. And take just a little bit of the residual and put it where it contacts the button lock, just because I was getting lock stick. So hope maybe that can help prevent some of it. And then throw just another little dab on the other side of the blade. And where it contacts the stop pin, I usually, depending on, you know, how the knife works. If it has like a steel you know, depending like how rust resistant the steel is and stuff like that. Okay, so we're gonna put, the spring is gonna go inside the button lock here, and that's what's gonna sit in this black hole right here. So it's gonna go like this. And then that's where the button lock sits. You know what, I think I have to seat the button lock first and then put the knife in. Yeah, okay. That's how it goes. I've never done a button lock before, so at least now I know. Of course, it just came undone. Sorry guys, this is a little bit of a pain in the ass. Let's see if we can do this again. Okay, so now that it's seated, I have to hold the blade open like this. And then put the scale back on. Actually, let me put these washers on. And I need to turn the pivot. Oh, shit. Okay, so now it just locked in place. Throw this scale back over and grab our Loctite. I just use the blue one, the one that comes in a stick. Go ahead and throw a little bit on the pivot screw. So you can see it. Tightened it all the way and then just loosened it up a little bit. And put our scale screws back in. Put a little Loctite. And snug those down a little bit. Grab the other one. Put some Loctite on it. Here we go. And put the last scale screw in. Whoops. Okay. Centering's perfect. Action is significantly better. The lock stick I don't think is there. Yeah. Yeah, even when I put a lot of wrist and lock it up, you could hear it. There was no lock stick there. Alright guys, so that's it. That's how to take the Tangram Vector apart, polish the washers, and improve the lock stick. Thanks for watching. This is Mike with iheartknives, and I'll see you guys on the next one.